Today in the studio, I got a real treat for you folks. He's even got a cool name, Thaddeus. Thaddeus Voss. Where'd you get that name? Your parents?
Yeah, it's actually a biblical name. It was named after one of the 12 apostles, so St. Jude Thaddeus. It's my grandfather's favorite saint, so kind of a family name.
What is short for it?
A lot of people call me Thad because that's kind of like their first instinct. And like, I really, at this point in my life, just don't correct it because I get it so often. But Tad is like what my mother wants me to go by. So
Tad?
I typically introduce myself as Thaddeus, but either any of the three, honestly.
Oh, yeah,
work.
Dude. If I was a Thaddeus, I'd be fucking Thaddeus.
It makes sense in business.
I'd even say it like this every time.
Out.
People say, what's your name? I'd say Thaddeus.
have that octave drop in your
voice.
But
you also have a cool last name. That goes with the name Thaddeus.
Yeah, I'm glad Voss Water sponsors the real Brad Lee.
It wouldn't have sounded as good if you were Thaddeus Goldberg.
Yeah, I would not imagine so.
Thaddeus Voss sounds like a badass. Folks, if you guys don't know who he is, you can follow him at Thaddeus_Voss_. 2 underscores.
Yeah.
Was underscore Voss taken?
It was.
Damn.
Weirdly enough.
Underscores screw shit up all the time, doesn't it?
Right.
But are you checkmarked yet?
I'm not checkmarked.
You want to be though.
100%.
Let's get him verified, folks, by searching up his name. Throw him a follow. Anyway, you're the managing partner of Bluegrass Lending, Triple Crown Capital, and Lionheart Funding. Now, you used to be on Wall Street. You said
correct. So I got my my start in the in the lending industry right out of school. Weirdly enough, I, just like any 22-year-old graduating college, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So took the summer off and just traveled from state to state trying to figure out where I wanted to land. I ended up getting a pretty solid job offer, paying like $75K a year plus commissions. I was exposed to get, around $100K my first year. But when I went up to Wall Street, I think the aura of Wall Street of like, I have an opportunity to actually work on this sacred land that people have always talked about, just like implored me. So I took a commission only job with absolutely no pay, being a 1099 employee, because I saw the potential. And my parents, they gave me shit for it. My friends gave me shit for it. One of my guys that has been working with me for a long time. We always joke around about the fact that like, he came to me, he pulled me aside at a party, and he was like, "Yo, listen, like I'm really worried about you." And then lo and behold, things ended up working out in my benefit. Because you took a
commission-only job?
I think I took a risk a lot of people wouldn't.
No, you're right. I always say though, dude, if a salesperson needs a base pay, are they really that good? Are they really that certain? I like finding people that are certain. I like people that'll say, "Dude, I'll work for straight commission." And by the way, listeners, if you're thinking, well, dude, what if they don't sell anything? Well, see, that's what we don't want you thinking. Okay. We want you knowing that you're going to sell something. We want you having that certainty. But more importantly, all you have to do is see if other people are making money. If other people are making money, well, then so can you. It's not like nobody's making money and you took a commission-only job. Commission-only job just shows your nutsack.
I would agree. If I didn't walk into this office on 40 Wall and witness, an individual in front of me, 25 years old with a Rolex on, and behind him, gongs were ringing left and right. And I'm like, what the hell is happening right now?
Like Wolf of Wall Street type shit?
Yeah. I mean, obviously that might give this, a bad rep. It's not that extreme by no means, but it was, in essence, it was that exciting. It was that type of excitement.
So you weren't at Goldman Sachs?
No,
Okay,
definitely
good.
not. Not a Chase, not a Goldman Sachs, not a Wells Fargo, nothing like that. But no, I witnessed this gong ring over and over again. And, the person interviewing me was like, "Oh, he just made $8K. That person just made $3K."
From loaning people money?
From loaning small businesses funding. Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I was a little starstruck. And I came in, super formal as I was raised to do, with like a suit and tie on, and completely prepared for an interview. The interview was very nonchalant. I was like, "Yo, do you think you can sell or not?" And, like I said, it left me with this taste in my mouth that was so unique as to what I've experienced in the past. And as I started doing more research on the industry, and I had a couple buddies that were getting started there as well, it ended up being one of those exciting kind of things. And one of those challenges I wanted to conquer. Like, if I can go conquer Wall Street on a commission only job, I can do anything. Right. And, lo and behold, it took a little bit of time to come off the ground. Definitely the first few months were rough, but once that snowball started to compile, I mean, it took off from there. So
I don't understand the difficulty in loaning people money. Doesn't everybody want it?
Yeah. So, where our space is different is it's going to be the alternative lending space. So basically we're either taking money from banks or we're taking private investors. But if we're taking money from a bank who might be giving you a monthly payment at a low rate and maybe have assets up as collateral, we also have to cover like our profit margins on that so we can cover overhead, or render some type of profit for an investor that's going to be better than maybe the S&P 500 on a given year.
Let's just say it's high interest or above normal interest loans.
Right. But the reason, so there's three major reasons as to why you'd go with someone like me, right? Number one is time. If you're sitting there. No,
the number one reason to go with someone like you is because no one else will approve me. And you will. If that's the case, dude, I'm going with you number one every time.
That is one of the three reasons, and I'll give you that.
Because there's a lot of people out there that'll take a fucking loan. You just might not want to give them one. And so that's the number one's the easier to get, because guess what, dude? Like you'll loan me $1 million. You'd be like, yeah, 20%. And you go, you'll loan it to me? You go, yeah, okay, here, I'll sign. Like, dude, there's a lot of people like that, especially startups. That's who you're looking for.
So they need to have at least a 6 months time in business, but it's technically still a startup at that point.
What's the minimum income?
There is no minimum. There's micro deals that'll be $2,500. There's, I would say a larger deal is like $1 million deal. I've seen a couple multi-million-dollar deals be done, but once you're getting to that level of financing, you're typically a mid-sized business. And mid-sized businesses, we still do help, but it's a little bit more circumstantial. At that point, you are working more so with the bank, probably qualifying for a line of credit, something along those lines. But if you can't,
you're an alternative.
Like I said, time is number one. So yes, we do facilitate loans for people that can't get money for banks. That's going to be a big market share of what we encompass. But time, like if you have to make payroll tomorrow, and if you can't make it, your employees might quit. Well, you can't have the process of a 1 to 2 week underwriting, getting all the stipulations and what have you with your bank, right? You come to me, I underwrite your bank statements, I can get money to you in an hour. Wow. Like straight up 1 hour.
People better pay attention, because like if you're running a business, especially now, because we're supposedly headed for a recession.
Yeah.
You better fatten up your bumpers. But dude, you don't have to. I mean, I forget how long ago it was, but at some point, LightSpeed was doing $1 million a month. I'm like, dude, let's get a loan and go crazy and start marketing and just pull a all out blitz, because we built this thing pretty much bootstrap.
Right.
And so I called my controller and I said, go to the Bank of America. We've had money in that bank for 20 years, or not 20, but 10. And I said, and just see if we can get a loan, $500,000, $1 million. And we were declined. My credit's freaking 8 something. The company's making money, but like when we filled out all the forms, they just said no. I'm like, what do you mean no? I could have just went to you.
You could have, and there's a lot of different, there are, and our range of products is diverse. Like we'll sell SBA loans, we'll sell term loans, we'll sell lines of credit as well. I've even dabbled in some real estate deals. It's just not necessarily my bread and butter, but we are a broker at the end of the day, at least the brokerage shops that we have, right? So if there's money to be made from, maybe we charge a fee on our services, or maybe there's a commission, whatever it might be, like we're open to it. Just the bread and butter is going to be, some of the little bit more high interest rate stuff, because it's so fast. You have a rep that comes in, makes a cold call, and within a couple hours might have a client on the hook and get them funded in that same day, right? That's like just the essence of excitement that you can generate from this type of business model. So,
and if you're smart, you take that money, even though it's a little bit higher interest than other money, you take it, you make money, or you save your business, or whatever you're doing with it. And dude, call the interest, charge it to the game. Like that's part of doing business.
Yeah. It's a write-off. So you write off that interest against your taxes.
It just seems like it'd be an easy thing to sell is all I'm saying. Like shit, dude. I didn't even realize there was an industry for it. And you guys are out there making $8K getting a company to take your money. Like shit, I'll get into that game.
Right. No, and it's weird because, and this is one of the first trainings we have to do with new reps is like, you are a solicitor. So naturally people are going to want to hang up on you. Right. That's the part of the grit of being in cold calling.
Yeah, but it depends on what you're saying and how you're saying it.
100%. And that's what we have to train them. But mostly, you know, the biggest hindrance when a new rep first starts is just that emotional management of like, you're going to get told to fuck off, right? That's naturally going to happen. You're going to get someone that's going to bang the phone on you. You got to get back on the horse. Like, that's just one file, one client. And that client might just be like, imagine you're calling a pizza shop in the middle of lunch hour. Like, they're busy running their business. They don't want to talk to you, right? But the one thing that sets us apart is we're not trying to get you to switch your cable provider. You know, we're not some, you know, and this is a great cause, but we're not some random charity like calling you out of the blue to like get money for donations. We're not someone that's asking you for some type of customer service review. Like, we're talking to you about something that's painfully needed with your business, and that's money, right? It's the most important thing, right? Why do you work? Why does someone work for a company? Because they're getting paid, right? How do you keep the wheels on the track with your business? How do you grow? Because you need money in order to do so. So the main two things that you can kind of sell on is fear or hope, right? Fearful that something bad's going to happen, aka recession, right? Or hope, you have that new office, you have that new employee, you have that new contract that you want to get. So between those two things, you kind of pinpoint what's going on with that client's life. And then you kind of harp on that and you get them to peel back those layers. All you need to do in that initial cold call is get them to start talking, right? Because everyone's going to be in a shell. They might hear you. Like, if I answer a cold call, or excuse me, if I'm giving a cold call, I'm like, hey, this is Thaddeus with Bluegrass Lending, for example. They didn't hear my name. They didn't hear my company at all. They're going to say, who, what? Get into your pitch, like roll into it, start talking about your product. Because once you actually get to a point where you hit a pain point with the client, they're going to start talking to you, right? And then towards the end of the call, what I like to tell the reps to do is like, hey, what's my name? I told it to you at the beginning of the call. They never remember. So it's like, if you can't remember my name, then you're not going to remember sending me my stipulation. So let's get these steps over right now. You know what I mean? But all it is, like, you got to get in there and you got to find a pain point to sell on. So, you know, with the cold calling, that's what you have to teach people right off the bat. Is just, it's all repetition. You know, it's a statistical game. So.
Have you ever hired Jordan Belfort to come to speak to your team?
I've listened to his podcast a couple times, but no, I have not. No, we've not.
That would be the perfect speaker for you, though.
Maybe.
Dude, he'll fire him up. You never seen Wolf of Wall Street?
No, 100%. I don't love the, I love the vibe that it gives off, and I love the excitement, and I do try to match that and embody that in certain attributes of what we do, but the ultimate, you know, there was some, you know, illegal things going on in that movie. And that's like kind of what I just, you know, don't love the comparison to, right? Because you can run, there's a lot of people that did.
Just because he did illegal doesn't mean you are.
No, not me. But there's a lot of people that like Jordan Belfort was in competition with that did the business the correct way. And like, you're not seeing movies about them, right? Because they made their money. They, you know, were kind of under the radar, you know, and that's just like in general.
Yeah. I didn't watch it enough to really understand what he did. You know, made a deal with Steve Madden when he shouldn't have. I don't even know what the deal was, but whatever. He went to prison for it. And so in my book, he paid his dues, right?
Yeah.
So he's paid up in full. Now he's back out. You know, to me, I think, because I've talked to a couple people in this industry, and it seems like talking to you, there may be a negative cloud around it or something. Is that the case?
It's unregulated. So with that being said, there's an easy barrier to entry or a low barrier to entry, but it's very hard to scale.
Well, see, I don't see, dude, aren't you giving away money?
100%.
So how is it easy to enter a market where you have to give money? You have to have money to give.
Right. There's no licenses required for being a broker.
Yeah, but you have to have money to give money.
Well, that's if you're direct lending, correct, which we do as well. That's going to be one of the three companies. But the brokerage shops is going to be what takes more maintenance because there's a lot more people involved. But brokers don't need to be licensed at this point in their career in order to get started. So Because of that, which regulation will come, you know, I've even communicated with several individuals that are within the coalitions that speak with the FTC, the SEC, things like that. And we're aware of what regulations are to come. And between you and me, I can't say I'm excited for it.
Millions of listeners.
Right. I can't say I'm excited for it, but I am optimistic for when it does come that, okay, I have to get my broker's license. Who cares? Like, we have enough money to do that. We have enough time to do that. We have the right people in place. Like, if anything, it's going to kind of get rid of some of the individuals that misuse the creative, just
liberties.
Right, that you have right now because it's not regulated. So, and that's also a reason as to why there's these big banks that can't necessarily get into what we're doing, at least at the same capacity. I mean, they get, their digital marketing can create market share to an extent that, they're making good money off of it, but they can't satisfy every client. You have 350 credit score, I can loan to you.
Well, how did I get declined then?
From a bank?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the bank's box is tight. Ours is not as tight.
But what is a bank looking for? My company was doing $1 million a month at the time. We had
typically
cash flow.
Assets, right?
Well, we're a software company. What are our assets?
I guess you could value your IP, but if you don't have patents, then it might be tough to actually
see. But that's stupid. I'm making $1 million a month. Don't they just want their payment?
Well, this is also something that's a misconception within our industry. Like, our interest rates are higher, but it's like, well, we can't take your car, we can't take your house, right? Like, this is a no asset loan. Right? People are like, oh, well, I'm getting a car loan at 6%. I'm like, yeah, well, if you default on your car loan, they're going to take your car, right?
Collateralized.
Right. And so that's the same thing with the bank. I mean, I'm in the process of looking at a line of credit myself with my bank. And, I have not been declined nor approved. We're just getting this process started. We're totally self-financed up until this point. The in-house financing that we do take on investors, but no loans, no debt.
When you say we, who's we?
My team. Just me and my team. So
is it a big team?
For in-house?
Yeah, like you said, you had 92 people.
In-house, we're about 90 people that I manage. We're about to cut a little bit of that off with a back office that we're restructuring, but day to day, I'm managing about 65, I would say, 65, 70.
Do the people know they're getting the axe here soon?
Oh, it was an agreement that was made, but we're not going to get into that. Regardless, it was very amicable. Regardless, our in-house team for the lending is going to be about 10 people. It's not crazy. So
you got out of college, yeah?
Correct.
Went to Wall Street, started selling loans, making good coin, or no?
I was making pretty good money. I was embarrassed to tell my parents. Let's put it that way. And
embarrassed to tell them you were making a bunch?
Wasn't rich by any means coming out of school, but I was definitely a little embarrassed to let people know that I was doing well.
Why? Why is that, dude?
I don't know. I'm becoming more and more.
See, it would be embarrassing for me to tell them I'm sucking.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So dude, I'd want to go to them with the biggest number. Matter of fact, I used to inflate the numbers. My dad would say, what were you making? Say. Well, because I got into sales early. My dad always thought I should be a blue collar worker like him.
Right.
And so I'd inflate the number. Like it's the opposite. Like, I'd be embarrassed to not make any money, not to say, how you doing? Shit, I'm crushing it, dude. 590,000 last year. How much you make, Dad? He'd probably be 48,000. But hey, if you want to scam people, sales ain't scamming. Okay. Sales, if you do it right, is helping.
100%.
Like, if I get into your business, dude, I would not have that negative cloud around me.
Well, we don't have that around us. And
yeah,
that's why
I'd be like, fuck that, dude. Like, you need some money, bro. You need some capital. You want me to help you scale your business? You want me to freaking get you dialed in on a loan source where you can just tap in anytime you need to? That's helping somebody. Well, you're charging crazy interest. Well, again, dude, hey, you need the money? Well, I can get it from Bank of America.
Do it.
Well, yeah,
do
go ahead.
Do it. That's the first response every time. We're like, listen, we're not here to compete with your bank. Go get it.
Yeah, but if you can't, give me a call, because, dude, this is for quick, boom, boom, boom. And you said you approve them just off their bank statement, so it must be cash flow.
Depends on the size of the loan and the term length. There are, some really short-term loans that are out there for some really poor looking, businesses, but there are some decent loans out there that will do a 2-year loan on, which is comparable to a term loan.
How's your collection rate?
It depends on the tier level of lending. So the more risky files that you're going to fund, the higher your collections are going to be, and that's natural. So
and the people that are funding these risky files, do they not realize one of these ain't going to pay us, or do they just factor it all in and say, well, we made X on the people who did?
The collections teams are, there are collections teams. There are ways to, render money from a client who's not paying. But typically, this is the weird thing about this. And I might be giving too much information, but if you're having problems, just call me and tell me you're having problems. We're not here to hurt you. Okay.
You don't send someone with a sideways nose over.
Right. Okay. We'll lower your payment for a little while. But unfortunately, like some of these guys are just like, they'll move money to a side account or they'll do something crazy and they'll try to lie to us about it. And we're like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like we have to put an attorney on this if that's going to be the case. But like there's plenty of clients that I have that call me up and they say, hey, Thaddeus, like I'm going through a little bit of a short spurt. Like, can I cut payments or can I freeze them for a week? I'm like, yeah, no problem. You know what I mean?
For a week, what do they pay every day?
Every day, every week, every month. It just depends on
There's people that are supposed to pay every day?
Every day, Monday through Friday.
Dude, that must be a high risk mofo. Who the hell would do
There's
that?
a lot of people that are out there. I've actually funded a client, tax return for 2020 was $110 million. And he took a $500K deal for me at, relatively high interest rate. I'd say about 38% paying daily payments. Don't
you have usury laws that would be violated in some states?
So the difference between what we sell is it is the level of collections. There is a little bit of a harder time that we have collecting, but this is why we care so much about previous loan experience, payment history. That's why we do care about, are you currently paying some of these loans right now and you're doing well with them, stuff of that nature, previous defaults. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there is a collection rate that's at that's something that you need to pay attention to. So it's like, but the thing is that the interest kind of covers that. So put it that way, like we know that there are some bad eggs out there, but if everyone paid us if everyone paid us 100%, then we would be able to charge much lower interest rates. Does that make sense?
Sure. Dude, hey, I'm the guy that says charge as much as you can get.
Right.
Like, dude, if I got $1 million and you want it, and I say, hey, give me 30%, and you say, fine, why am I the dick? You're the one that agreed to it. Like, we made a deal. Like, you can use my $1 million and you give me $300,000 for using it. And they say it's a deal. Well, I would assume it's because they're making more than $300,000 by using it.
100%. These things are typically made.
But why does that make me a bad guy?
Most of these loans are kind of priced similarly to your credit card. If you really think about it, if you're late on your credit card and you're getting charged 2.5% interest a month, that annualized interest is very similar to what we're charging. Same thing with factoring agreements, right? You write off a certain percent of your AR to me, and then you have to pay me back 3% a month, if you will. It's going to be the same rate. It's just, it's just structured differently. But you mentioned usury laws. We're not technically selling a loan, and this is probably the reason why more regulation is going to come into play. But we're buying your future receivables. So basically, we're taking into account your last 4 or 5 months bank statements. We're projecting what you're supposed to make in the next few months, and we're basically buying your future receivables. Like you're giving us the right to purchase them.
That's all of them,
the
or
contract
portion of them?
Portion. It's gonna be dictated on the contract. Yeah,
because the company still needs to operate.
Yeah, 100%. So it's gonna be a certain fraction. There's a leverage ratio that we like to adhere to. So based off the risk of the file or the term that we give, we're gonna have a certain percent leverage.
Is this you standing in front of a Rolls Royce?
It is. That's rented though, so don't get too crazy about it.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, are you loaded or no?
I'm doing well for myself.
Are you the one loaning the money, or are you getting it from a investor or a bank somewhere?
I used to loan all my own money. I would take profits from my brokerage shops and reloan them out, but then I realized that I wasn't taking home anything. So then I started taking home money and I brought on investors, and I was like, listen, why would you not be interested in making, our average return per deal is like 28%, right? Pending no payment issues. Over a year, some of the people in our book are making upwards of 60, 70% on the year, right? Why would I not open this up to other people, use other people's money to make more money, and then also be able to take money away from the businesses that have already started, right? I didn't do this to not make money for myself as well, right? I'm seeing all the other brokers make good money. It's like, when am I going to get paid? So I stopped doing, what I was doing is just putting every dollar that I had back into the lending side because I wanted to get that jump started, and I started recruiting investors.
How many types of brokerage? You keep saying these are brokerages, these companies of yours?
Right.
I'd call them like funding companies, but brokerages. Is that the name for them?
Brokerages means that we're cold calling clients and we're trying to pair them with a lender.
How many of those are there?
Or a funder, if you will. Brokerages, tens of thousands.
Tons of them.
Tons of them. They're all over the place. They're centralized certain locations We were the first brokerage shop in the state of Kentucky. I know of one prior to me in Arizona, but I don't know any outside of that. So
you didn't grow up in Kentucky.
I grew up in Kentucky, yes.
You don't sound like it.
I lost my accent. It's so weird. I came up to Wall Street and people were like, yo, you're so cute. Like, I can hear your Kentucky accent, like the secretaries and whatnot that were at our building. And within 6 months or so, I'd say that the accent just totally went away. So
interesting. What does it sound like in Kentucky?
There's a lot of y'alls.
A little more slang.
Yeah, some really drawn out vowels for sure. Like I said, and a lot of y'alls. We're from Louisville, so and it's Louisville, not Louisville. So for those that are listening, but Louisville is a little bit more. I mean, it's a top 25. I don't know if the stats came out this year for it, but as of recently, it is the top 25 biggest city in the U.S. So it's a pretty urban city, but like what's around it is you'll see your farms and your horse farms, hay, whatever.
Bowling Green's nice.
Yep, that's where WKU is. Got a lot of buddies that went there and don't spend much time in Bowling Green, but
it's right next to Nashville.
Yeah, I spend time in Nashville, not much in Bowling Green, but
I just got a house in Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah, my wife wants to check out the South.
You downtown?
No, Brentwood.
Brentwood.
You know where it is?
I know, like in relevance to Nashville, the general area.
It's like 15, 20 minutes away.
Right.
Nice little suburb.
It's a nice area.
It seems like it's Nashville. You just got to drive 15 minutes to get to downtown. And what else is Nashville other than Broadway, downtown?
You got Demumbrian, that's a nice street of bars as well. And it's really just Broadway.
See, I haven't even explored it yet. I have a house there and I've been there twice.
Really?
Going down July to.
Would you buy the house to live in? Did you buy it for
I leased it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just said, she was bitching about living there. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy a house there. It's probably muggy and hot and humid. And she was complaining and blah, blah, blah. So I said, hey, I'll tell you what. So I, leased a nice ass house for her. I said, we'll go get that dialed in. We'll, stay there a year off and on, come back and forth, see how we like it. Worst case 2 years. And then if we like it, we'll buy a house. She said, deal. So I'm like,
where's your wife from?
Seattle.
So why'd she pick the South?
Because she's like an old soul. She's she likes country music, and she just believes people are nicer there than here, and she doesn't want to raise our little girls here, and she believes everyone's going to run around the neighborhood exchanging peach pies with one another.
I mean, I will say the South, there is definitely Southern hospitality. Like even at our house, like if you come to our parents' house, like my parents are together, they've always been the people that wanted to have our friends over. Like you're going to get fat and happy, and you're going to get, now we're at the age, like you're going to get boozed, the people are going to they're going to give you whatever you want practically.
Did you say boozed?
Yeah. They're like whatever booze that you want. It's like, yo, go pick up wine, go pick up beer, go pick up, some liquor, whatever. But like, you're going to come over and you're going to get as much food as you can. You're gonna be able to sit down, like have a drink with us. And like, it's like a very homey vibe. Anything that you need, we'll give it to you. If you need to stay here, no problem. So I would say that there's a lot more of that. At this point, I've lived in New Jersey, New York, Miami, Louisville, Lexington, and then as of recently, we've just started that office in Arizona, so I'm out there quite a bit. And it is one of the nicer places. Miami's very nice. A lot of people are very nice, but it's very superficial, right? But I guess you could imagine that just walking around, you've seen like the plastic surgery and whatnot. So
yeah, but it's nice to look at.
It's nice to look at. Yeah, for sure.
So to me, the thing that keeps making me wonder is like, it doesn't sound that hard. So tell me, like, when you call a customer, what is the pitch?
It's like I said, like I'm going to tell you my name and my business, but if you ask a question, I'm going to roll into it. And basically my number one goal.
Like I'm a business owner. You call me, ring, hello.
Hey, this is Thaddeus with Bluegrass Lending. You might even say, you might answer at that point, like who, what, when, where, why.
I'd say, what's up?
You roll into it. Listen, I'm calling because I've seen that you had a little bit of exposure to debt in the past.
How did you know that?
Well, sometimes you have to kind of throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Oh.
But we do get qualified leads, and sometimes these guys are filling out that they have, some type of daily, weekly, monthly payment. say that they're looking for funding, we're buying qualified leads. It's not like we're just going on LinkedIn and we have people that we're getting these lead sources from. But the number one thing that you need to understand when you're selling cash advance or, any type of lending in this space is that you need to be looking for their debt. Hey, what is going on with your balance sheet? Do you have anything on there that you want me to take care of? I can help you out with some consolidations. You can treat me like a financial advisor. We'll develop a game plan from A to Z, right? If they take a loan that you sell, they're in your market, right? So you wouldn't sell something to someone that's not within your market. You're going to adhere to whatever that they're already taking, whatever that they need. And sometimes their expectation is far outside of reality. We have guys that are grossing $10,000 a month saying they want $1 million. We're like, Bob, come on. Like, we're not going to be able to do that for you. But basically if they have a loan that you sell, then they're in your market. You need to go ahead and kind of perk up a little bit and get excited and, start hammering in on them. So
now, if I could generate 1 million leads of people interested in money, you'd have a team of the people who've called them, and if they get any loans, you just pay me a commish.
100%.
All right, I'll start saying shit on social media. What do I say? I say, if you guys need capital, come on over. Bradley, just hit me in the DM. Matter of fact, what I should do, you ever heard of ManyChat?
I don't believe so.
Well, it's this thing where you can hook it up to your Instagram, where if I say, if you're interested in coaching, type the word coaching, DM me coaching. So it's like an AI that'll read whatever word they put in your DM and automatically respond with a link or, whatever your offer is. So I could literally say, hey, look, if you guys need money, just put money and throw me a DM with the word money, and I'll reach out and see if I can help you out. Dude, I get thousands of them.
Yeah, send them our way. We'll work out a split. Totally down.
All right. Folks, anybody need money, DM money to me. No, I'll get inundated and I'll be forwarding you like 1,000. Won't be the first time I did that. I did it here on Dropping Bombs. Some dude said, he finds money for people that had W-2 employees during COVID.
Yeah. I think it's the ERCs, right?
Yeah. So I said, well, give me a link just in case my listeners want to do it. And they put up a link, and I told everybody and did a podcast with them, and we got about 180, let's say 150 to be safe, businesses over $23 million returned from the IRS. Like in the last 4, 5, 6 months.
100%. Those products are out there.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, that's real shit. Like if you worked as a W-2 employee, if you had W-2 employees during COVID, you got money sitting at the IRS. You just don't know about it. So, go to the damn website, fill it out, boom, you get money back. It lit up, dude, when I did that.
Yeah.
So I might do it with loans with you. We'll talk offline. Folks, don't
100%.
DM me yet. Don't DM me yet. But you can DM Thaddeus. He's already loaning money. You don't need to do me. You can
we'll
just
sign you a sales rep. We'll get you taken care of.
Just tell him the Bomb Squad sent you. But at Thaddeus_Voss_ if you want to get some freaking cashola for the business. And then what do you got there? I need my readers. This LH, what is it? LH funding?
So that's going to be Lionheart funding. And
LH Fund Group, triplecrowncap.biz, just so they have it, and bluegrasslending.com, either one of those. Now, what's Lionheart? You said you were passionate about Lionheart.
So Lionheart is kind of like my new... So I started off loaning money by myself, like I said, with just taking profits from the brokerage shops, sifting it over. Then I started taking investor money. So we're trying to scale up significantly. Lionheart, I have managers. Not with Lionheart, with the brokerage shops. I have managers, I have processors, we have accountants, we have everything pretty much in place. Lionheart's kind of like the new, it's been open for a year, but like, it's kind of my new, what I'm sinking my teeth into lately. So I'm still like getting CC'd on every single deal sub and, kind of taking a peek at every single deal, like proofreading my underwriter, things like that. So it's just, I'm more involved with Lionheart as of right now. Still very involved with all of them.
But why? Why Lionheart? Just because the name?
Just because it's newer. Well, it is a cool name. Actually, it's named after my cousin who passed away. And people ask me this, and like I have Lionheart merch predating when Lionheart was opened. But her name was Lauren, and we called her Lauren the Lion. She ended up battling with brain tumor for 15 years.
Bummer.
And when she finally passed away, you know, they put Lauren the Lion. There were some shirts that had like a little heart with a lion inside the heart. And so when I was creating the funding shop, I was like, this just makes sense, right? So it's in spirit of her and anyone else that's battling, you know, cancer or you know, any type of brain tumor or something like that. Actually, 10% of proceeds do go to St. Jude's Hospital. So
nice.
Those are going to be you know, owner draws, things like that. So out of the profits.
That's good. So when you figured out that there's money in this, did you like start telling all your buddies, or like, you think in Kentucky you're all neighbors?
Like I said, I mean, I would say that I was very social growing up. So when I came home and like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started this thing, it was like 30 college interns just running around, you know, and I'm like hollered at them to do a power hour stand up and like cold call their desks and whatnot. I had a partner at the time, but like, it just wasn't scalable. And like my buddies would look at me and I got a lot of hate. I'm not gonna lie. Like people were like, oh, like what you're doing is illegal, or this doesn't
Loaning
work.
Money?
It's not. Yeah, just because like, I don't know, just I guess the way we started, I mean, I started on Cisco tables and laptops. Like I was like the utmost form of a startup. Like I had no financing to start. It was just my own personal money. And, you know, like most people who are starting a business, it starts like in your basement.
Well, that's ballsy because, dude, if you gave away all the money you had, because I'm sure you didn't have an unlimited amount.
No.
And they didn't make their payments, you're screwed.
Right. But we started the brokerage shop first. I started funding probably a month after the brokerage shop was created. So I just used profits from the brokerage shop to do that. Right. But anyways, they're just like, I don't know, I guess they're seeing stories of me and I'm like kind of doing a little bit more lavish things, but you know, they just didn't really have a full understanding on what we did. And then, you know, lo and behold, like one of my friends came on board and was like, you know, this seems like it makes a lot of sense. I think I can make more money than what I'm doing now. And then 2, and then 3, and then just like became a snowball effect. Now everyone's like recruiting. We do most of our recruiting through word of mouth. Right?
Because it's easy to make good dough?
Well, we build a very certain culture. I think that's the difference between us and a lot of companies. Like we don't recruit from within the industry. We also are very careful with who we put in management.
Are there industry conventions?
Yes, twice a year. One's in New York and one's in Miami. So
is it loaded with sharks?
There's a lot of interesting people there from all different corners of the industry, I would say.
See, I wouldn't make it in this business, dude, because I would say, with my personal money, I mean, I would say, why can't you get it from a bank? And they'd say, whatever the reason. And I'd say, yeah, I'm going to go with what the bank decided, because I don't trust you either.
Yeah. Well,
someone's got to have the balls to step up and say, here's the money. And that, you know, charges little interest. Like, who cares? Why would someone think that's a bad thing?
Well, it's funny. I mean, when I first started doing it, like my first loan was like $3,500, you know,
yeah,
and I was like, shit, I'm
talking about the percentage though. Like, who cares what the percentage is? Like, it's a deal. Like, if I don't want your money at 20%, I'd say, dude, I don't want it at 20%. You say, cool. You're not a dick for asking for 20%. It's your money.
Right.
So if it's 35% and someone says,
you're
not a dick because you got 35%. Well, that's a little much. In whose opinion? Whose money is it? Like, it's my money, dude. I'm going to get as much as I can for it. That's the whole point, isn't it? Matter of fact, if more people thought like that, they wouldn't need fucking loans. Like, possibly. Get your money.
The thing is that the market's going to set itself. So if I'm charging an interest rate that's higher than my competitors, they're not going to go with me. Simply put.
Well, dude, I don't know. Like, I must be my head in the sand because I don't know of a million fucking brokerages looking to throw money my way. I'd probably be in debt or out of business if I'd have known, because I'd have took it all. Dude, you missed me, bro.
You really want to have some fun? Let me submit an application for you to a couple lenders. You'll start getting calls from brokers.
Yeah, no. Now I get, you know, emails all the time from venture capitalists wanting to buy the company, and it's like, dude, half of them, they're just fishing, you know, because they're business brokerages.
Right.
So they want me to go, oh, you want to buy the company? And they go, well, let's look at all this. And then they go, yeah, we could probably do this. Why? Because they're shopping it. They're shopping it.
Right.
They're not really there to buy it. They're just there to make you think you're buying it, or
right.
They're buying it. And really they're shopping it. If they can't sell it, what'd they lose? Nothing. But money, dude, that's a different story. Like, people need money.
Everyone needs money.
Yeah, and I'll bet you that there's a lot of people that don't know where to get it, and they've tried the bank. Like, I tried the bank, They said no, and I'm successful. I was successful then. It made no sense to me. And I'm like, well, whatever. Because I didn't need the money. You know what I mean? I just wanted it.
Right.
So everything worked out just fine. But at the end of the day, man, I would have took the money.
Right.
I don't care what the interest rate is, as long as my return on the money, the purpose for the money, outweighed the interest. What's the most interest you've ever charged?
49%.
See, now some people are right now listening going, damn, that's a lot.
It's all right. I mean, listen, if you can find a better deal, that's fine. And we'll also compare different offers from different lenders to show you. That must have been a high risk mofo. There's a lot more out there than you think. Some of these people are taking, 10 or 15 of these loans at a time. That's a high number, but I've seen 17 loans in one person's account. And naturally, every loan that you take, you become more risky. So what happens? Right,
goes up. Interesting.
You're not going to sit there and get a 2-year deal with a monthly payment.
What if you find somebody that comes to you and they got flawless credit and everything's unbelievable? Do you ever get those?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes they're not in the box for the alternative lending, and that's when we go to an SBA or we go to a term loan or we go to a traditional line of credit, and we have those options. What we want to do is build a holistic view us as like a financial advisor. Where we can build a holistic sense of, you come to us, we can help you with credit repair, credit card processing, anything that your company might need, including SEO. But these are just different verticals that take time to build, right? And we're not that old of a company. So we are actively looking at all these types of things, but that's where we want to be, is to where you can come to us and we're going to sink as many hooks into you as you can, because we're helping you in as many ways as possible. You're probably not going to go shop around with other brokers. Probably not going to go shop around with other companies, right? You're most likely going to come back to the people that have treated you right from the start. Right. And so we have those connections to be able to put you in each of those places. But those verticals are something that we're actively trying to build, which I think sets us apart from the industry in a major way.
And folks, you'd also get to do business with a guy named Thaddeus Voss. Well, dude, listen, I don't know. If you ask me, I say, there ain't no black cloud around it as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why you I kind of sense that you think there is.
No, not necessarily. I just know what some people have done. And so.
But let me just clarify, like car salesmen. What do people think about car salesmen?
Oh, you can sell oil. What
do people think about car salesmen?
The same. Listen, it doesn't matter what industry that you're in. You could be selling marketing solutions like LightStream. And if you do it in an improper way.
You're not answering my question. What's the general idea on car? Let's say used car salesmen.
They're trying to make as big of a commission off you as possible.
Yeah, they're slimy, they're this, they're that. Well, dude, listen, I sold used cars. I wasn't slimy. I wasn't trying to make as big a commission on you as possible. I was helping people buy transportation. I was helping people get from point A to point B. I didn't think that was a slimy industry either. So to me, I think maybe this brokerage or lending source is just everybody's, kind of like salesman, like a couple of bad eggs ruin the feel of it.
Right. And that's what I mentioned. I mean, if regulation does come, who cares? Bring it on. That's exactly what we would appreciate. That way we know we're going to triumph. Right. But it's nice that there is kind of this open land to kind of get creative with however you want to. And there's different types of lending products that come out because of that. So,
well, dude, I guarantee you'll get people from this show that reach out and get a loan from you.
Right.
Because people need money. And dude, I don't think there's as many people that care about the interest rate being quote unquote high. Because again, if I can get the money and it makes sense, then let's do it. If it doesn't make sense, well, then don't do it.
Right. And you're getting what you're qualified for. I mean, there might be occasions where you can put up something as collateral and get, what you like. Again, the industry is going to set itself, and we're going to make sure that we help you navigate through there, with as much honesty as possible, as much ethical behavior as possible. With, you got to imagine you're dealing with people that are cold calling you all day long. So you don't know these people. We FaceTime our clients hey, what's up? Check out our office. This isn't some chop shop in Brooklyn. Come check out what we do. Come check out what we're about. Right. We're going to take care of you. We're going to hold your hand. We want to fund you for years to come. Right. We don't want to just come in and do one deal and then be done with it. That's not how you build a book of business. Right.
Well, if you could tell the bomb squad anything before we wrap up, what would it be?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know. If you are looking for any funding, definitely reach out to us. 100%. What we care more about is careers. So we're looking to build different types of offices all over the nation, whether that's in-house funding or brokerage shops. So if there's anyone that's in this industry, they're having trouble scaling, or they're looking for some type of guidance on how they can get across certain milestones, definitely reach out to us. We're definitely open to those conversations. So
when you look that way, what are you looking at?
I'm really looking at this. This is the only way that I can.
Oh, because I thought
I see you looking at this camera. I guess I'm looking at me up here.
You're looking at your camera.
Okay,
there you go. I thought because I said the bomb squad, you were looking at my camera, thinking it saw you. It can't see you.
This is actually my first podcast
ever.
Yeah, ever.
How many followers you got on social media?
2,300.
So you're not running around being an influencer. You're just out there doing business.
Well, it's so much. I mean, I'm working like 12 hours a day, making sure that I can micromanage everything that's going on. I think that's okay. So like, I want to be someone that's involved with businesses of all sorts. I've had people that have reached out to me about solar, which I know that you're involved with. I've had people that have reached out to me about insurance, right? Once you learn how to develop a call center, if you will, the guys that we have, as long as there's money in what we're selling, if we onboard another product, they're going to sell it if the money's there. But that essence of being able to build a call center is what I think is valuable. And that can transcend against so many different industries, right? So, me working 12, 13 hours a day, trying to get all this stuff done. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have a lot of fun. Like, I get to travel. I get to meet new people. I get to, have expensive dinners and go out and, go celebrate with the guys and girls that work with us. And we do, different types of events, but it's just tough to do like a real professional sense of like brand awareness and actually boosting your own personal brand. But I think that's something that's valuable, because I look up to the fact that you can just make some type of post on Instagram and all of a sudden, maybe you have the money, or you have the back office, or you have the connections of leadership, or something that you can do to help other people around the US help build their business. So financing to me is like, it's just a tool, it's something that we are definitely going to, we want to encompass as much market share as possible, but like, I want to be involved in tons of different styles of businesses. I want to be involved in solar. I want to be involved in insurance. I want to be involved in, there's some e-commerce businesses that I've been approached with, right? But it's all about how you delegate, right? How can you put the right people in the right spot to be able to help the other individuals? But again, I think it comes down to like, our team is just so tight knit. Everyone believes in the same vision. That's a very hard thing to do, especially with the age of a company that we are, and especially with the amount of reps that we have that are on the younger side, early 20s.
Are they all kin?
Say that again.
Are they all kin?
Not, well, define that a little bit more.
You're from Kentucky. You should know what kin means.
I mean, like family and stuff, but like, are you saying, like, I don't know all the reps that we recruit anymore. It's gotten past that, which is, a good feeling, but at the same time, like, I need to make an extra effort to go make myself available for all these individuals, but it's just tough. You know what I'm saying? When there's more people that are coming in the doors every single day.
Well, you need a LightSpeed virtual training system.
I was actually thinking about that before we got here. So
that would allow you to be with everybody 24/7, training, tracking, monitoring, measuring, communicating, leading, inspiring.
100%.
I'll make 1 million Thaddeus's. Once you come into one of these studios, we can virtualize your ass to where literally what you would have said in real life is just, a password away, and bam, you're popping up saying it to different people, tracking what you said, tracking if they understood it, notifying people if they didn't. It's a badass system.
There we go.
I'll sell you live on air.
There we go.
So you live mostly in Kentucky?
No, I would consider myself a nomad on paper, and the most of my time that I spend is in Miami, but like, it's also massive help with taxes. But I mean, I'm in New Jersey, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Louisville, I'm in Miami, and then, you have the random trip to Vegas every once in a while to come see Brad Lee, right?
So if people want to follow you, just Instagram's your main one?
Instagram would be my main one, correct.
Folks, go follow this dude at Thaddeus_Voss_. Dude, I appreciate you guys coming out here.
100%.
It was just from Phoenix though, not that far.
No, I came from New Jersey actually for this trip.
That's a long ass one. You guys stay in a couple days?
Yeah, he's leaving tonight. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. But I'm only going to Phoenix, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you coming in, dude. Hey, if you guys get money, get it from Lionheart Funding. I mean, that's the one that like pays for the St. Jude's.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, like, dude, that's freaking awesome right there. See, now that's giving a little back.
100%.
How come the rest don't? How come Bluegrass doesn't do that to like.
We probably will make those initiatives. It's just, it was something that I decided right from the beginning that kind of fell in tandem with the name. And I was like, now that I have a blank slate of a company, I want to start like some precedent right from the get-go.
That's awesome. Saying?
So,
well, I appreciate you coming in, folks. As always, until next time, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.